Alright, good evening everyone. I wanted to quickly make a video to show you how to pull files such as STLs from sites such as Thingiverse and then bring them into free CAD software such as Autodesk Fusion 360, convert them into an editable body. You can edit STLs, but this is a far easier way and it allows you to do more complex features. So say you want to customize features such as I did back in the day for this Iron Man mask where making a straight cut and the print software is easy, but it's kind of obvious that when I dropped this later, it broke along the line that I epoxied together. So I wanted something more complex, like a dovetail, so that the parts will snap together and then have a lot more strength once adhered. So that's what we're going to do today. Also made a couple tools so you can gauge how big to make your dovetail for your machine, so you don't have to do trial and error. I went ahead and made 4 different testers for that, and I'll reference them to this video so you can print these to test that, see which size thickness of a gap works best for your machine, and if you want the files that I printed are the end files after we get through running through this whole thing, you can find them here. Okay. I'm also going to link, hopefully, this step-by-step list that I made that will help guide you and show you the settings I use, etc. It does have some pictures of different sketch options and some stuff to catch yourself on. Shout out to these guys, which I will use their file on just as an example. So, step by step, let's go. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can drag this down. Okay, so first step is, of course, to download the file from Thingiverse. I'm going to click download. Once this timer over here runs out, we'll see the compressed folder pop up. While that's loading, it's kind of a large one, we'll go ahead and create our new file here, new design, in Fusion 360. By clicking the plus icon, I'm going to close the old one, and because that takes a little bit of time too, because it's kind of complex. So we're back over at the folder. You can see it's a compressed folder. We need to unzip that or extract the files so that we can select the individual files. So I'm going to click on the files. I typically show people how to just drag and drop these, but as you can see, there's many parts in this file. So we're going to go back to downloads and drag that to our desktop. Because I've already downloaded this, it's going to say that I've already downloaded it, or it already exists, but you would just drag and drop it there. And as you can see, it says it already exists because I already have it. So I'm just going to say exit and not deal with that. Okay. Going to move this off screen and expand our file here, our new design file. So first thing I want to do is, of course, save. So I'm going to click in the workspace and then click Control S on my keyboard to say we'd like to save this. I'm going to save it as just sample cut video, and then save. Okay. Now we want to import that file, which it won't allow us to because it's still in a compressed folder. So I'm going to open up my files, go to desktop where that's located at. You would find it here. It would look like this. Click on that, then right click, go to extract all, and because I've already extracted these, I'm not going to click extract, but just pick where you would like that to be extracted to, desktop, etc. And it'll create a new folder, as you can see here, that is extracted, and just a regular folder now. Once you have that, you go to insert, click insert, and then do insert mesh. A lot of times I'll show people how to import the model into your data panel over here. As you can see, there's one there from another video, but because this is kind of complex and whatnot, I'm going to use the insert option. So insert mesh, that, and then find the file you're looking for. I've already been going to this one, but you'd see it more like desktop. You would find the folder, click on that, go to files, and then look through these. If they don't look like pictures, hold down Control and use the roller on your mouse to zoom in and out. There's the helmet there, but there's also a second one with a BD for battle damage. As a battle damage version, I'm just going to do the regular helmet. It's going to import it. I'm going to select millimeters as my unit type. I've already verified that that is correct for this file, but in my other video I'll show you how to measure to confirm if you want to confirm. Okay, I'm going to shrink this video down, get it out of the way as much as possible, and you can see now that we have a very complex, you can see all the triangulation of this STL file. And now we're going to start working with it and try to make it an editable body and then make our custom features. So if I clicked in bodies, you'd see mesh body. Typically, we would just go ahead and convert this. I'll show you one that won't work with the more complex one like this. On your object under browser, click that, right click, and then select do not capture design history. We need to do that so that we have some options available. As you saw, some tabs popped up there, and the mesh feature is now available. So under modify, click mesh to B-rep. And I always do it as a new component, but you can do new body. So new component, okay. You can see that it's going to abort that operation because there's 80,000 faces on this. Fusion 360 wants there to be less than 50,000. 50,000 or less to do this, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. Okay, we just need to reduce the number of faces. So click OK, go to the Mesh tab, click Modify, Reduce. You can also find Reduce right there. But all right, there's the settings I use and the density I use. I think standard it's like in the 2s, but or 0.2, but I use about 0.12 for density. And I use adaptive. So sorry about the dogs barking, neighbors left them outside. And so we're going to select mesh faces. I use the paint feature, so I can just drag like this. And if you don't have that showing, you can go to select paint selection versus having to freeform selection and whatnot. So, and then you can also adjust that size. So we go in. You do need to decide where you want, let me push escape here. You need to decide where you want the least quality of the print. And as you can see from this print that I did last night, high quality on the front because that's the visible edges, visible side, and then less quality on the back. If you can see the triangulation there, it's shining. It's kind of nice, and then large. There's almost no difference, but no one's going to see that, and that's where I would like to, if I was having to choose, like right now, that's where I'd like to reduce the quality. And there's other ways to do this. If you want to show videos of using mesh mixer, etc. for stuff like this, that's a great option as well. So it's just how to do it in Fusion. So I'm going to go back in, click reduce, and show you what that looks like. So each time I click OK, it'll reduce the number of faces there. You can see that's far less, and we probably subtracted a couple thousand there. So escape, I'm going to do Control Z because I want to do it all at once. Control Z, I continue selecting. One note on this is you don't want to run over an edge like this because it will automatically select faces around that edge, which would look like this. If it allows you to do it, it would look like this. See how it reduced the quality on the front, and I don't want that. So Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. All right, I Control Z out of that, and I'm going to go back in and keep selecting. Trying to avoid the edges. I'm going to leave my paint brush size pretty large to try to keep the video a little bit faster. You can do this in batches, so you don't have to select so many at once. And that's what I would suggest. That's what I would suggest for someone that's newer to this, but I know it's going to be fine. Alright, that's pretty good. I'll grab as many as possible. Let's go ahead and do reduce and click OK. That turned out pretty good. I'm actually going to reduce it again while it's just selected. See what we come up with. That one's not as good. As you can see, sometimes very large triangles will add mass. I'm actually going to leave it like that. I don't see anything major. Typically I wouldn't want that, a larger triangle, but the video will be fine. Escape. If we go back to Solid tab, click Modify, go down to Mesh, Mesh to B-Rep, and then select the body, click OK. You can now see that we have 69,000 faces, so we've reduced it by about 11,000 faces, which is great. We just need to get rid of 19,000 more, and as you can see, we have plenty of opportunity to do that with this bottom part. So back over to the Mesh tab, Reduce. Go ahead and select all you can without running over the edges, etc. Don't worry, even though we're not capturing design history, if you mess up, you can push Control-Z. Or just, if you haven't done anything, also Escape. It's great. It's great. As you can see, I ran over a little bit here. Didn't run all the way over, but it might cause a problem. We'll see in a second. Typically, you want your faces to be about on the same as possible, but Fusion's pretty good about figuring out what you're trying to do. Let's see if that'll work. Okay. Yeah, that turned out pretty good. Let's see if it'll let me do it one more time. Alright, that's acceptable for this video. Yeah, that's not too bad. And we do have a lot of faces to get rid of. Let's show you what it would do if you went too far. So let's reduce again. See if I can. Oh well, that's good enough. Okay. Yeah, sometimes, as you can see, it's adding a little bit of height there. That's fine for this video. Let's go back and see if we are close now. Modify, Mesh, Mesh to B-Rep. I'm going to click the body as a selection and click OK. We're at 54,000. Got to get rid of about 4,000 more, and no problem. So back to the Mesh tab. Here's a good tip: is that since we know we're going to be cutting here, and when we adhere them together, we're going to have to finish it by putting something on the surface to hide that repair. So that's a good place to lower, if you have to choose, to lower your quality, because we'll be manually, by hand, repairing that area. And I'm going to select this as well, a little bit of that. No, that's not too important. But yeah, this, I know I'll be adding some Bondo or wood filler to that area to hide that edit when I put them together. Click OK. I do not like that. I'm going to do Control-Z, reduce. Gotta change this to 0.157. Okay, that's acceptable to me. Yep, maybe I'll do a little bit more, but for the video speed, I'm gonna say that's fine. Surface, or sorry, Solid tab, Modify, Mesh, Mesh to B-Rep. Click the body, click OK. 50,400. Oh, we're so close. Okay, Mesh, reduce, and I'll just maybe I'll select, yeah, since I'm already repairing that area, I'll go ahead and sand this down if it gets too bad. Well, right over the edge. I would pause it, but I know I hate sometimes when YouTubers pause the videos and I don't get to see what actually went into it. Okay. Okay. Failed. Reduce. So we can patch away. Oh, didn't really want to take away any over here, but I will. So I'm going to put it on some of the edges. I don't notice as much. You could really spend more time up here, but I want to make the video quick. Okay. Shoot. Reduce. Screw it. Let's do it on the face. This isn't great practice, but it'll be fine. Let's see. Okay. Yep, that's not preferable, but it'll make the video quicker. So back to Solid tab, Modify, Mesh, Mesh to B-Rep. okay. We're at 49,000. That's pretty close to the max, so I almost expect the system to have a lot of trouble with this, but we'll see. You'll likely see over here turn black and the loading for a while. If it takes too long, I'll pause the video, but don't worry if you're working on a complex file, it has crashed on me before. Click OK. And we'll see the system struggle with this for a minute. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner, the loading thing here and this over here. Just try not to move the model too much or do other stuff on your computer while this is processing. Just be patient, or own a computer with more processing power than mine has. If you're working on a laptop, which I was originally when I started messing with Fusion, expect it to crash sometimes when you try to convert a body with that many faces. Okay, so we're done. As you can see, the mesh body is not visible right now. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete that for simplicity, but our new component here is what we just created. It is of a traditional body like that, as you see. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I save this, Control S, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on my design history. As I said before, below browser on the object, right click, capture design history. Because now we're going to treat this as a traditional CAD file, and we'll want to do parametric design, so we want to track our timeline. So it's going to take a second again to load, and now we have a timeline down here. No features added yet, but as you can see, we have a body up here. Still loading a little bit on my side, but now let's discuss. So you want to make a custom feature. What I showed you earlier is what I want to add, which is the dovetail features like this, and let's jump into that. So first thing you gotta do is sketch. I'm going to pick a plane that looks to be about parallel with the part of the body I want to cut, and when I turn on my origin over here, because I already clicked sketch up, I'll click escape, show you what that looks like. I could click turn on the origin, or you can click sketch and your origin will automatically become visible. I'm going to select this face because it will allow the sketch to cut through when I extrude the sketch. I'm going to go ahead and figure out about where I want to cut this. If we scroll around, I think I want the cut to be about through these triangles. So I'm going to pick a point here. That's at about that height. I'm going to click P on my keyboard for project. Click OK. And now I'm going to hide that component so we can focus on the sketch. And as you can see, I now have projected this one point from about the height that I want to cut. I'm going to draw a line across and lock it in horizontally. You can see the horizontal constraint there. If you don't know how to do that, click the line and then click horizontal in your constraints. Then going to click the line, click the point while holding Control to assign a coincident constraint, which now locks it at that height. I'm going to turn the component back on to see if my line is longer than the component, and I'll just go ahead and manually drag it to just a little bit longer than the component itself. Okay. Turn the component visibility back off. Now let's edit this. Or let's draw out our dovetail. These don't matter too much visibly because you're going to hopefully cover them up once you've adhered your two parts together. I'm going to draw out this basic line. Careful not to use all those locks. Just let it be about like this. Draw that. Turn this line. Click it. Right click. Turn it to construction. And then click D on your keyboard for dimension. Dimension can also be clicked here. So to avoid confusion on y'all's part, I'm going to go ahead and switch my units to millimeter. So more people use that in 3D printing. And I'm going to click D again for dimension. I'm going to make this 3 millimeters. Make this one in line with it like this, 10 millimeters. And I will make the angle at which that line is to the horizontal line 98 degrees. Okay. That's constrained now, the lines are black. Let's go ahead and finish that to get going. I'm going to click mirror up here. You probably won't see it there. You'll probably have to click create mirror. Okay. Click the two lines here and your mirror line. Okay. Now we have essentially created the dovetail. Now let's, instead of redrawing that a million times, let's go to rectangular pattern under create. Click these 4 lines under the objects, and then for the direction we'll do the horizontal line. We'll do spacing option instead of extent, we'll do spacing. I'm going to go ahead and do 25 of them for now, but we'll look in a second. And the spacing distance I want to be 10 millimeters. So let's see what that looks like. They only went one way. I want them to go both, so I'm going to go symmetric for the directions so that they go both ways. And we know this line is long enough, so we don't need all these extra ones. Let's go back to 23, see what that looks like. And then 22. 21 seems to be about the least we want because this side will run out if we go any less. So we'll click OK. And then I'll go in and delete these extra ones by holding Control, selecting those lines. There's an easy way to do this, but this will be simple to hold Control. So there's only 2 of them. And click the delete key. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and save just in case. It's freezing up a little bit. Just wait a second. And now we'll go to trim, the trim tool, because we want to remove these lines here. We want just a simple sketch because we're going to be working with surfaces. Just go through and drag your trim tool. You just hold the left mouse key, and like if I was starting here, I can just continue to hold my left mouse key and drag through all these. Holding while avoiding clicking or dragging through any other necessary lines. Okay, so your sketch looks like this. Click escape. And we're good to go. Let's go ahead and turn on our component visibility to view this. One problem you might run into is accidentally cutting a small piece off. Like if we left it like this, we'd probably have, as that line goes in a little bit, just a tiny piece of body cut. But I'll actually go ahead and make that mistake with y'all, and so I can show you that we're working with a nice model now, and we'll be able to go back and edit that. So let's go ahead and make it. So finish sketch. All right. For now, I'm going to turn the visibility back off on the component. I'm going to go to Surface tab. And go to Surface Extrude here and create. And I'm then going to, for the profile, select all these lines. Not really the fastest, but I'm assuming a lot of y'all will just do it this way, so it'll be fine. Okay. So we've selected all of our lines. Go ahead and check. Yep. I'm going to do profile plane. For direction, I'm going to go ahead and do symmetric. Now we're ready to make sure this intersects our model. So I'm just going to grab one of the arrows and just shoot it through. Just make sure it goes through everything. It's plenty big. You can make it a little bit smaller if you want, but it really doesn't matter, so I'm just going to leave it big. And I'll make that a new body, as you see there. Okay. I'm not going to do any taper angles right now. I'm just going to do this the simple way. Alright, see our surface bodies here that we've created, and that will be fine. So the next thing we need to do, oh, and you can see that we're collecting our history of that surface body. Next thing we need to do is go ahead and click Create, while still in the Surface tab, go to Thicken. For the faces, don't try to select each one, just go over to the bodies here, in the Bodies folder, select those 2 bodies. I have to hold control. There we go. So you saw that. It was thicken, holding control, click on the two bodies, or if you have more than one body. Shoot. Holding control, two bodies. Alright. Thickness. This is a good point to show y'all the test rig I made for y'all so that you know what your printer can do. Everyone's printer will be a little bit different, so you'll need to know what thickness to do. And I went ahead and made this test print that y'all can download that will give you start at 0.2 millimeters thickness cut and then up to 0.35 millimeters test cut. And that's just a quick, simple way to print that. And so go ahead, if you want to pause the video, find that and print those. But I went ahead and tested mine with that, with those testers, and I know that my printer worked well, 0.35 millimeters. And one side is fine for me, and new body, so, okay. As you can see, I just turned that surface into a thick body here. And now we have a tool to cut the main faceplate in half. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and save again. Give it a second. Yep, still loading. I'm sure why my computer's being a little slow today, but under Solids tab, I go to Modify. You could click Combine there, but under Modify, you'll find Combine. Click that. Sorry about those dogs barking. So under Target Body, you want to select the faceplate, and Tool Bodies, we're going to select the body that we just created here. Operation is to cut. I'm going to make a new component, and I'm going to keep the tools. You don't have to select those options. That's just what I always do, because I like my files to have as much information as possible. So select those two, and we should be ready to cut. Oh, okay. That save is having a little trouble. I'm having a lot of winter weather, so the internet's having a lot of trouble, and my computer's being very slow as well. But just give it a second. I'll go ahead and pause and let that load. Well, no, say it's ready. Cut. Okay, clicked OK. It's going to take a second again. Probably not the best day to make a video with computer problems, but probably more realistic of most people's experience at this point. Go ahead and pause. Oh, every time I say I'm going to pause it, finishes. So, okay, we're in here. Let's go ahead and turn off the visibility of all the bodies. Close that folder, and you can see we have our old component, component 1 still, and we have a new component. Let's go ahead and look inside that new component. Actually, we'll just turn off the first component's visibility so that you can see that now it looks the same, except it has a cut all the way through with a dovetail cut. This actually turned out pretty good. This is what I was mentioning earlier about making a mistake. That see this part here could potentially break. It's a little close. So let's make that a little bit better. I thought it'd be smaller, but that would actually probably would work. But just for an example, because a lot of people are gonna mess up there. So down in our design history, we go to that sketch, edit sketch, which I did with right click. You can also find them in your sketches folder. I know it's this side. I'm just going to go ahead and hold down Control and delete those two lines here, and then draw an additional line here. Push Escape. Shrink my camera back down now that we're done, and do Finish Sketch. Let that load up, and we'll see. Alright. So as you can see, we're faulting because we've made some changes. I'm going to go ahead and roll the design history back to each one of those. Click on the yellow fault and do Edit Feature by right-clicking, selecting Edit Feature. As you can see, we've selected all the lines, but except for our new one. So while I'm in that selection, I'm going to go ahead and click that as well. And click OK. you can see we fixed that error. Let's roll to the next one. It automatically fixes itself, but let's verify that by turning on the bodies. Yep, now you can see we did one larger cut, which actually apparently was not what we needed. So I went off? Guess so, huh? Okay. Yeah, I meant to make this here. Sorry, I'm not trying to make this video this long, but I'll go ahead and correct that. So I'm going to select those lines, like I said, that I don't want, that small feature cut, delete that, delete this line on that, delete this line. This one's probably constrained. Nope, let me drag it. Oop, I don't want that. I want horizontal, etc. And finish sketch. Again, we have some problems, so we'll go ahead and right click, edit feature, and while clicking the select, we'll select the extra line we just drew to make a large long face to make that part, the last cut, a little bit bigger. Okay. Fixed everything. I'm going to go ahead and roll the timeline forward. Now it's a solid body again. Looks like it's not selecting that, so let's go ahead and do solid body, right click. It's not letting us edit that, so escape. And let's just suppress that feature and redo it. Oh, sorry. Okay. Suppress that feature. It's a long video. We wanted to edit the thickness, the thicken command. Okay, so under thicken, right click, then right click, edit feature, and for the faces, click and add in the new sketch there. A little bit of an edge. That'll be okay for this video. I'm not gonna go too much farther into it. Okay. And let's go ahead and roll our history one more forward where we subtracted from the main body. It's gonna take a second to load. I'm gonna go ahead and lower my desk and sit down because it's a little bit longer than I expected. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I hope I didn't lose anybody with that confusion. I just wanted to show you all how to, make sure that your last cut here was large enough. So again, that's the first component that we made. I'm going to turn the visibility off and turn the visibility of the bodies off so that you can see now that we've cut that piece. Now let's print it. We're pretty much done. So inside of the component, I'm going to go to each body. You could name them if you want. Click again, and then you can name it top. Click again, bottom. So what I like to do is click this body, right click, save as STL. You could adjust these if you want. That's why I set them on. And I like to send it directly to my print utility. So if you have time, you can set that up. Click OK. And it will send it directly to my print software, but I'll also show you how to save it. So this will work for my print software. As you can see, it would fit once I stood it up and placed it in the center there on the platform. It fit now, and I'll probably print that in a different orientation, but that'll be fine just as an example of how you could do it. And now I'll show you how to save it with a file. So did the same thing, right clicked on body, clicked save as STL, but instead of send to print utility, don't check that, click OK. And we'll let you save it as a STL at a place of your choosing. So you can select wherever you want to save it. And then go into your print utility and find the file. So that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for the suggestion. I don't think I actually gave a shout out, but this video was prompted by someone on my last video requesting that I do a higher amount of triangles in one file and edit that in Fusion. And I wanted to, 1 second, I'll pull that up. Want to give them, of course, a little bit of a shout out for Sebastian here, who asked for more triangles. I said, yeah, absolutely. I got a file in mind, said Iron Man helmet, and it's funny because, like I said, I printed one, and I just did it the easy way, and I was needing to go back eventually anyway, so that's great. Any more suggestions y'all have, just let me know, or if you want me to make specific videos for specific files or edits that you need done, just let me know as well. Alright, thanks.